Okay, and here we are at the Surrealist exhibition in Dugway, Utah. We're going over Dolly right now, and we're looking at Geopoliticus Child watching the birth of a new man. Now, you know, Dr. Bender, they say a lot of Dolly's work was influenced by his dreams, and you can definitely see that when you're looking at this piece. You have the sort of, eerie glow in the background and some images which don't really make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you there, such as how on the bottom right you have the lady pointing to the man coming out of the egg with the child at her legs, but yet the child's shadow is much larger than the lady.
I agree with you. I agree with you that has some significance, at least more so than most people would think. I don't know if maybe that means that the child is more important than the old, decrepit, dying woman, or what. One thing that you look at when you see the man emerging from this globe-like egg, you see him grasping England and sort of Europe. That may have something to do with England not so much becoming the dominant country anymore, and as he is emerging out of the United States, maybe saying that the U.S. is becoming more of a global power.
Definitely. And at the bottom of where he's coming out, you can notice that there's a drop of blood coming out of the egg, and I kind of wonder if that has something to do with maybe new power at the cost of some blood.
Yeah, maybe war, or at least a little bit of violence from that. Another thing you need to look at is that fate of England is in America's hands. You kind of see that by the way he's grasping it there. It's a unique thing. You also see this umbrella-like thing casting a shadow over the egg, maybe sheltering the man as he emerges. I don't know. Also, a lot of Dolly's works are influenced by his Spanish heritage. He was raised very Catholic, so you see a lot of those things emerging, mainly grim religious themes. In the background, behind the man's foot, you notice a figure in the background. We can't really make out what he is, but maybe that has some significance as to what's going on.
Yeah, there's definitely somebody off back on the left, and then off to the right there looks like there's almost a tower of some sort.
Yeah. I can't make out exactly what that tower is, but if you look on the opposite side of the egg as the man in the red robe, you will see a dead dancing skeleton just above the woman's arm right there. Back in the sky you see just a desolate wasteland, and they say a lot of what Dolly worked for was Freudian, something that has to do with the dream analysis, free association. Dolly does a lot of his work around word games and hypnotic type images. So you definitely see this playing in effect through here again. So alright, now we're looking at Joan Miro's Dutch Interior 1. Not a lot of people know this, but Andre Breton, the father of the Surrealist movement, personally asked Miro to represent Spain in the Homage to Surrealism exhibition with Mr. Salvador Dali.
Which is kind of funny, really, because even though Andre Breton asked him to represent Spain, he never did become a Surrealist.
Yeah, he joined the Dadaist movement in 1922, but you're right, he definitely never became an official Surrealist. Also, another thing you need to look at with the Dutch interior is his use of amorphous amoebic shapes. You see a lot of sharp lines and spots, and he kind of breaks things up and makes nothing really identifiable. You see a man in the middle of the room playing a guitar for what appears to be a woman.
And then you notice down on the left there's a dog.
Yeah, that definitely does look like a dog.
And a cat underneath the woman.
Okay. You see, I think those are birds, and outside of the room, in a pond, there are a couple of ducks floating around.
Maybe a fish there on the left.
Yeah. And Dr. Bender, I really do like this piece because it brings in these heavy use of complementary colors, and you see, it's almost like a new take on just a simple man in a room playing a lute for common spectators. So
I guess that does make sense. I guess, I don't know, I don't like it. I guess I don't really know why. I suppose it's because of the fact that nothing is really a close resemblance to what it's supposed to be. there's just so much clashing involved.
Yeah, and I will agree with you. There is a lot going on, but I think that's one of the things that kind of intrigues me. I look at this, and then I look at what influenced this. Caravaggio's The Lute Player influenced Miro to do this piece. And looking between the two, you can see the only thing that even is close to the same between them is a man in the room playing a lute. And then you look at Caravaggio's very, standard painting, just
almost picturesque.
Yes, picturesque, very chiaroscuro. You see a lot of common painting techniques, and then you jump over to Miro and you see, sharp lines. You see geometric shapes, kind of amoebic. Yeah, it's very chaotic, but that, in my opinion, is one of the things that brings this piece to life. The Surrealist movement was pioneered by Mr. Andre Breton in the 1920s in Paris, France, and it sort of developed out of the Dada movement in World War II. It brought up elements of surprise and dreamlike influences, philosophical expression, and a lot of images that seemed dreamlike and kind of weird to the people who looked at it, because they didn't really understand what they were looking at.
And Andre Breton drew up the first Surrealist manifesto in 1924, where he stated that Surrealism is the actual functioning of thought. Followed by, in 1929, a second manifesto written by a collection of Surrealist writers.
Yeah, it was just a sort of Surrealist activist movement, and they all sort of did it collectively. And not a lot of people know this, but Breton actually drafted a third Surrealist manifesto that was never issued. And that's all we've got for you today, folks. We have Dr. Bender here with you, and my name is Ian, and I'll get back to you later. Tune in next time to Smart History.